The Chantry teaches us that it is the hubris of men which brought the Darkspawn into our world. The mages had sought to usurp heaven, but instead, they destroyed it. They were cast out, twisted and cursed by their own corruption. They returned as monsters, the first of the Darkspawn. They became a blight upon the lands, unstoppable and relentless. The Dwarven kingdoms were the first to fall, and from the deep roads, the Darkspawn drove at us again and again, until finally we neared annihilation. Until the Grey Wardens came. Men and women from every race, warriors and mages, barbarians and kings. The Grey Wardens sacrificed everything to stem the tide of darkness, and prevailed. It has been 4 centuries since that victory, and we have kept our vigil. We have watched and waited for the Darkspawn to return. But those who once called us heroes have forgotten. We are few now, and our warnings have been ignored for too long. Even be too late. For I have seen with my own eyes what lies on the horizon. Maker, help us all.
Greetings. Greetings. Well, that didn't work.
Deep beneath the Frostback Mountains sits Orzammar, the larger of two known remaining dwarven cities in the world. Orzammar was once the seat of a major empire connected by tunnels called Deep Roads, which stretched thousands of miles. The city now stands alone, cut off from the rest of the dwarven ancestral lands by the Darkspawn incursion. Secure in Orzammar's impregnable construction, the dwarven noble houses continue their centuries-old power struggles. Assassination and blackmail are commonplace, but the appearance of honor is paramount. You are the second child of King Endron of House Aeducan, the 9th Aeducan ruler elected by the noble assembly. You grew up in a world rife with political intrigue, and have struggled against brothers and cousins for honor and prestige. Today, a feast celebrates your first military commission, the opening move towards real power in the ever-changing game of dwarven politics.
Greetings, my lord. You are dressed and ready. Excellent. I couldn't find the armor's matching dagger, but I scrounged up a rather fancy longsword. Do you wish to wear your shield to the noble's feast? Agreed. Tonight's battles will be of politics and intrigue. A shield won't be all that useful. Of course, they might think you were too fearful to risk looking fearful. One can't take all this marching about and speech-making too seriously. Moving on to the business at hand. The king expects you to make an appearance at the feast, but there's no rush. The noble family heads will spend hours boring your father with petitions and petty grievances. The usual. This lord had my cousin killed, this lord seduced my wife, this lord did the exact thing I'd planned to do to him, but he did it first. They pose and bluster, and each pretends he is the honorable man in a den of thieves and assassins. Bah! The rest is worth seeing, though. As part of the celebrations, permits have been auctioned off to members of the merchant caste who wish to sell wares in the Diamond Quarter. Lord Harrowmont has also opened up the provings for young warriors to test their mettle before tomorrow's battle. Perhaps we should go show them what single combat is really all about. And by we, I mean you. I'll practice my cheering. You remember last year's open proving? It took your father's smith 6 hours to remove my helmet. I'm not meant for single combat. I fight as my lord's second in shield. That's enough for me. Right behind you, my lord. The day is ours until the feast.
Let's get started.
Good day, Lord Aeducan.
My Balin? Oh, I'm sorry. I am so
Let's get
sorry,
started.
Your Highness. I'm sorry. I thought you were Prince Balin coming down the hall. Forgive me.
It seems she's one of your brother Balin's newest, companions. Prince Balin is attending the feast being held in Lord Aeducan's honor.
Yes, of course. It was presumptuous of me to think that he would return to... I am sorry. I will show myself out, with your leave, my lord. Thank you. I will go now.
Your father has allowed the merchants to show their wares in the Diamond Quarter during these celebrations.
I'm sure we can work this out reasonably. It's in the records. There's nothing I can do. Please, Master Volney. My work is accredited by the Shaper.
These books are lies written by the enemies of House Volney.
I write only what I find in the ancient records. Lord Aeducan, you can vouch for my work, can't you? Your father loved my History of Aeducan, Paragon King, Peacemaker.
The king, as well as several other lords, are quite fond of his work. He writes of the ancient paragons.
This worm has written a book that slanders my house. He deserves to die for what he has written of Paragon Volney.
My work tells the stories of all those raised paragons in the last 500 years. When the Assembly names a paragon, that man or woman is then, by definition, everything one can aspire to be in the world. They form their own noble houses and are revered as living ancestors. But paragons start off as men.
Volney was more than a man.
Aeducan was much loved, but he was still a man. He was plagued by melancholy, and his fervor regarding Orzamar's safety bordered on obsession. When Aeducan was proposed as a paragon, only one lord in the Assembly objected. The others savagely hacked him to death. Aeducan's motion passed without a single dissenting vote.
Unlike Volney, is that what you mean, old man?
Volney became a paragon by the narrowest margin in history. One vote. A vote mired in rumors of intimidation, intrigue, and outright bribery. The records of that vote are kept in the Shaperate and are a matter of fact. Not liking history doesn't make it any less true.
You're taking his side? What if he published a book like this about your paragon Aeducan? And Volney was not? Must you disparage a paragon? You've made a huge mistake.
That fool has no idea how weak his house is or how low he sits in it. Shall I have him killed, my lord?
Well, historically, it has been prudent to eliminate a small threat before it becomes larger.
How do you want it done? Understood.
You've shown yourself more daring and aggressive today than most believed of you. Someday I hope to write of the great exploits you are sure to perform.
Word has been sent. He won't live past the hour.
You've shown House Aeducan a friend to research, history, and the glory of our people. Of course, I have much to document and organize. Good day, Your Highness, and thank you.
Ah, my friend. Enjoying the festivities so far?
Quite.
Have you heard about tomorrow's assault on the Darkspawn burrows?
Who hasn't?
They say they are going to strike a blow with the Horde, but rumor has it they are actually searching for Bronca.
The Paragon? Why search? The ancestors have risen her up to join them.
You don't think she's still out there?
Impossible.
The finest in home decorations!
50 silvers for such a small bolt of cloth? That's outrageous. You certainly have some gall, merchant.
But my lord, these are surface silks, dyed with the finest saffron and indigo and embroidered by skilled elven tradesmen. I've seen Prince Balin Aeducan himself wearing a robe made of something quite similar.
So I pay your exorbitant price, only to end up looking like a poor imitation of Prince Balin. You'll get no coin from me.
But that's not what I meant, my lord. My lord! My lord Aeducan, you honor me by visiting my humble booth. May I show you my wares? Not for a mighty warrior such as yourself, my lord, but perhaps a lady friend. I forget myself. I'll be silent.
This looks to be mostly fabrics from the human lands. These merchants form alliances with those who have abandoned our ways to live on the surface. According to the scholars, more than 500. Does it matter? The surfacers are lost to us. Perhaps we should get going. It's a shame, I agree. As you say, perhaps the other booths?
Nothing beats a good set of steel cutlery.
Our trust follow, big brother. How surprising to run into you out among the common folk.
Especially since duty requires that you attend our King Father at the feast today. Have you so little respect for him to disregard his wishes on a day set aside for you?
Lord Harrowmont told me we wouldn't be needed for hours at least.
Silence! If I want the opinion of my siblings second, I will ask for it.
Yes, Your Highness.
You're on your own. I've been dealing with them all afternoon.
What exactly is that supposed to mean, little brother?
Nothing, Trian. I've been having a great time. The speech you gave to the legless boy about hard work and making something of himself was fantastic.
As heir to the throne, it is my duty to impart wisdom and judgment upon those who need it. Now then, you, get to the feast. Stubborn, aren't you? When I'm king, I will help you get over that. Come, Balin.
That was fun. Nothing like being talked down to by the next king. You always defend him. I wish I had your understanding.
My Lord Aeducan, nothing here rivals your amazing Aeducan armor, but if you wish something made...
You know very well House Aeducan has its own royal armorers.
Of course. Forgive me. Your Highness's legendary prowess is matched only by your kindness. I buy only the finest iron ore, and personally oversee the armor's crafting by the most skillful of the smith caste. Of course, the honor was all mine.
Look at this piece, darling. It rivals even the work of the Paragon Smith herself.
Nonsense, woman. Your words bring shame upon our house. See how the edges are rough and pitted? Would you compare this to Branca's work? Trust a woman to speak of things she doesn't understand. Be quiet now and pray the ancestors deliver Branca back safely.
What about that one?
I doubt he's up to the task. I'm not going down that road again.
Hope to end up with a red head.
Would that Sir Blackstone were a noble, hmm? Stand up straight. They're coming.
What have we here? Two handsome, strapping, noble lords. You both look so grand.
And isn't this the man of the hour, the king's son?
Who's your friend, my lord? Another noble from the honored House Aeducan?
But not from a noble house, girls. Sargorum, warrior caste.
Oh, that's too bad. You're quite handsome.
They're noble hunters, my lord. A man takes his caste from his father, and these women hope to bear a noble lord's son. If one is successful, she's raised up to concubine in the noble house to care for her child. It provides new sword arms for the house, and many nobles look favorably on such women.
You're the most appealing, obviously. A noble from the best house there is. Handsome, too. Are you interested in a bit of bedded diversion?
We'll be here if you change your mind, my lord.
You honor us with your presence, Lord Aeducan.
They're fighting the provings in your honor. How exciting!
Invest in the next great trade expedition!
Greetings, my Lord Aeducan. I am so honored to have you visit my booth. I have a proposition, but I dared not approach.
Yet you dare now. Very well then, speak.
Yes, just so. Here's the thing. What I mean to say is... Sorry. So nervous. I had a dagger made, for you, as a gift for your first command. Sent a messenger to deliver the dagger to you. Prince Trian had him thrown out. I don't know what offense he caused, but I had him beaten severely. Here it is, Your Highness.
That's an amazing piece, merchant.
You do me much honor, sir. The blade has been crafted over a period of 2 years by masters of every art. I wish to bless the Lord's first command, and hope that someday, when he rules, he will wear it.
Trian is heir. He will rule when King Endrin returns to the stone.
If the Assembly wills it. Forgive me, sir, but whispers say the second child of Endrin will be chosen.
Whispers indeed. It's a princely gift. If Trian recognizes it, though, it may send the wrong message. Or the right one, depending on your view.
Of course. Please accept my humblest apologies to House Aeducan.
Watch yourself in the future.
Only the freshest food for your noble table.
Lord Aeducan, here, in my booth? I am so...
He's fainted. You make quite the impression these days. Is it hard to be the king's child, never able to just blend in? As are we all. Shall we move along?
You bring great glory to your house, my lord. Most exotic wares in Orzammar!
My lord, are you heading to the proving arena? We have been charged with the task of escorting you to the proving grounds.
I clean forgot about that. Forgive me, I should have informed you sooner. The king decided you were not to travel through the commons unguarded. I did mention the merchants that won permits to show their goods in the Diamond Quarter. There were only so many permits auctioned off, and quite a few were turned away. Your father fears you will be harassed on the way to the proving.
Will we be leaving then? We are at your command.
Your Highness, it is an honor to have you here. Have you come to watch these brave warriors do battle in your honor? Your presence encourages the fighters to greater feats. I'll call the first fighters in a moment.
Greetings, Lord Aeducan. Are you enjoying the proving so far? Your presence will inspire these fighters to even greater effort.
This is the lead trainer of the provings, my lord. He teaches nobles from lower houses without their own trainers, and the best young men from the warrior caste.
You are too kind. Did the two of you hear about the scandal here last week?
We've been preparing for tomorrow's battle, and have had little time for gossip.
The Grey Wardens are in Orzammar, searching for recruits, so the warrior caste arranged a proving. The goal was for the Grey Wardens to recruit the winner, bringing him honor and a chance for glory. Well, yes and no. It was like nothing I've ever seen. Sir Everd, fresh from fighting Darkspawn, got dead drunk before the proving. Then some casteless bruiser took Sir Everd's armor, wore it, and won the proving. They took the imposter to jail. I assume to be thrown into the deep roads as meat for the Darkspawn. The warrior caste is in an uproar. An incident like this raises many questions. Well, how the brand got in here to begin with.
Or how a casteless learned to fight like that. They aren't even allowed to possess weapons.
I've heard they fight in the slums with the old cast-offs. I'm almost curious to see.
I doubt King Endrin would approve of that.
Ha! I suppose not. All right, I have to go check on the fighters. It was an honor to speak with you, Your Highness. My thanks. Segura, I'll see you later. Good luck tomorrow, the both of you.
My lord? We will take a break when we are done here. For now, we are here to serve. The Lord Aeducan may take as much time as he likes.
I'm glad to see you up and around. Would you like to congratulate today's winner? Then I shall call him. Franklin!
I am here.
Will you receive honor from Lord Aeducan?
Of course. I am honored by your presence. Thank you, Your Highness.
It was a night of honor and glory that will be spoken of for years to come. Be well, all of you.
My lord. Your wish is our command.
Look, the Grey
My lord,
Wardens are here. The
Might I
raid
offer?
tomorrow must be more than a standard mission. The Wardens only go where the Darkspawn are the greatest threat.
Many thanks for your willingness to hear me out, my lord. I wish to speak to you of a matter most urgent.
It looks as if the heads of House Bimo and Mino are keeping your father busy, which leaves you plenty of time for our dear old friend, Lord Dace.
You're a credit to your caste, Sir Gorham. I've always said so. If I had a daughter, I'd give her to you and make you the noble you deserve to be.
You honor me, my lord.
First, let me congratulate you on your commission. 2 of King Endrin's children now commissioned war leaders. It does great honor to your house. Ha! No, I surely did not. Let us just pretend we spent another 10 minutes wishing good things on each other's houses, yes? There is a vote coming before the Assembly next week. And a word from you could go a long way towards helping our cause. Well, you do cut to the point, don't you? You'll be quite a shock if you ever join the Assembly. We are so fond of our doublespeak. I have no desire to obligate you or force your hand. I propose a mutually beneficial arrangement. The vote concerns the status of the so-called surface caste. Lost to the stone, air-touched, and so forth. Centuries ago, narrow-minded men declared that any dwarf who left to live on the surface forfeited his caste, and his house if noble. That he was, in essence, no longer a dwarf. I seek only to remedy an injustice, to retie the bonds of anyone who can trace himself to one of the noble houses wherever he may live. Please, agree to speak for this noble cause. Those on the surface are our lifeline. They facilitate trade with the surface. They're honorable and, let's be honest. I don't care a whit for those who have wandered from the stone. My wife, however, is a gem of a different color. She has a cousin, a useless sort, but she's quite fond of him. He joined a speculative venture to the surface, hoping to make his fortune, and went bust. Now he wishes to come home, but he cannot, for he has no house and would be casteless. For my wife's sake, I take up his cause. Will you lend me your voice? I keep my ears to the stone, my lord. I hear many things, some of which could be a great help during your mission tomorrow. A little forewarning to help your forearming, if you know what I mean. When your father presents you to the noble houses, I will ask for your opinion on the matter. You have merely to say that you feel our surface brothers should be returned their noble rights. What could be more simple?
Greetings, my lord Aeducan. It is an honor to meet you at last. I have had the opportunity to recently meet with your father. He speaks highly of you. He says you may be the most skilled warrior in all of House Aeducan. I have no doubt it is deserved. We need more Grey Wardens like you, and quickly. Even as the Darkspawn weaken here in Orzammar, they are stirring on the surface. A blight has begun. Soon the fight must go beyond the deep roads, lest the Darkspawn threaten all the world. You know of our dedication to destroying the Darkspawn, our frontline presence during a blight. What else would you know? Over the centuries, many dwarves have made names for themselves in our order. These days, however, there are fewer dwarves, and thus even fewer dwarven Grey Wardens. A pity, since dwarven warriors have the most experience fighting Darkspawn. Being a Grey Warden means abandoning all ties to your old life. It means dedicating yourself to destroying the Darkspawn. Then it is a good thing that you have other paths before you. Some are not so lucky. I wish you luck in the deep roads tomorrow. Show the Darkspawn the might of your people.
You're a fool. Your mother would melt the stone if she knew what you just did. Lord Dace is playing you false. Go ahead, be his puppet. Your first command will be marked by every major house turning their back on you. If you are to play in the games of the Assembly, make sure you know the motivations of the players. Last spring, a guild from the Merchant caste invested heavily in an expedition with a guild from the surface. Lord Dace backed the Merchant Guild, pouring a great deal of money into the venture. The expedition was a disaster. Clever child. Lord Dace lost a great deal of money and prestige. The Surface Guild has no way to repay the investment, but it does have several leading members who are descended from noble houses. House Helmi, Bimo, Aeducan. You begin to see the whole picture. Your house and mine would be forced to pay the Surfacer's kin debts. It would be a great victory for Lord Dace. Just so, my clever friend. Smile and nod, and when he asks his question, tell him that the so-called Surface caste are right where they belong. That should take Lord Dace down a peg or two. Good. Your house's reputation hangs in the balance.
My king, please reconsider. The trade contracts alone could bring great prosperity to our houses.
Will we really turn our back on our brothers and a potential fortune in cheap labor because of a political technicality?
Denial of the traditions of our people does not qualify as a political technicality. There is more to life than monetary gains, my lords Bimo and Mino. The Assembly of Kal Sharok will respect the rule of Orzammar, or they will rot and die alone, surrounded by enemies.
Yes, my king.
But look, we have company to spare us further wrangling. Atrast Vala, my son. How fine you look in your great-grandfather's armor. Are you ready to be presented to the heads of the noble houses? So dutiful. Very well, let us begin. Lords, ladies, grant me a moment of your time. We are here today so I may present to you my second eldest child, blessed by the stone and born of the blood that ran in the veins of the paragon Aeducan. Who would pose a question to the prospective commander? Who seeks to know the prospect better?
I have a question. I seek to know the prospect better.
Lord Dace, head of House Dace, speak.
Lords, ladies, my question concerns the plight of our wayward kin, the so-called Surface caste. What does the Commander Prospect think is the proper place for these lost souls?
Are you satisfied, Lord Dace? Do you feel you have learned something about the Prospect?
Yes, my king.
Then if there are no other challenges, I give you Orzammar's next commander. Tomorrow, our newest commander will lead part of a mission to strike a great blow to the Darkspawn. Not only does this recover access to some of our most important mines, but it also allows our honored guest Duncan, head of Ferelden's Grey Wardens, to strike far into the deep roads.
Thank you, King Endrin. While the Darkspawn seem to withdraw, it is only because they are massing on the surface. This could mean a blight, and my men and I will discover the truth.
We are honored to have you with us, my friend. Now, feast, drink, and celebrate, for the morning brings battle! As for you, my new commander, find your brother Trian and send him to me. He may be watching the provings, or getting some rest in his rooms. Walk well, Commander. Quickly, find Trian and send him to me.
May the ancestors grant us victory against the Darkspawn.
If it isn't our newest commander, congratulations, Your Highness.
Your father is very proud of you. Congratulations.
Good luck to you tomorrow.
I am proud
Well
to serve
played
the
for one
Aeducans.
so young.
No sign of trouble here.
I'd watch my back if I were you. Dace will want revenge.
May House Aeducan grow in strength and power.
I suppose you're proud of yourself. That is the way the games of the Assembly are played. Next time, I will think more of you. If you'll excuse me, my lord.
What did you think of the Grey Warden? My thoughts exactly. Was there something else? Yes, I yearn to face the Darkspawn and prove my worth as your second. May the stones support us, and the ancestors look down with pride. Not much that you don't already know. My father's father was a great hero of the Deep Roads excursions and raised the family to the top of the warrior caste. He was even nominated to join the Assembly and found a noble house, but the honor was in the nomination. He wasn't afforded a single vote. My father served your father for many years, and now I serve you. As you will.
Good day, Lord Aeducan.
So you're a commander now, in name at least. Shouldn't you be attending our King Father? The world does not stop and start with your meager achievements, not even tonight. Now, do you have some purpose in bothering us? Of course he does. We must discuss strategy before tomorrow's battle. Balin, stay here and stroke the new commander's conceit if you like. But then get to bed.
I honestly don't know how you put up with him. I wish that sense of duty and family loyalty was shared by our elder brother. Unfortunately, I am. Trian has begun to move against you. I never thought his much-proclaimed honor would allow him to actually act on his jealousy. Big brother, Trian is going to try to kill you. I wouldn't have believed it myself if I hadn't overheard him giving orders to his men. Trian's decided you're a threat to his taking the throne. Maybe he's right. He fears what you are becoming, in the eyes of the people and the Assembly. Trian's the named prince, but only the Assembly can proclaim a king. It would be unusual for the Assembly to ignore the king's choice, but it does happen.
The founder of House Vimo became a paragon and king in one move from the Assembly, and he was a commoner.
That was an extraordinary case, but at least a half-dozen times the Assembly named a lesser family member, or even someone from another house, as king. Usually, it's the popular younger brother of an undesirable prince. Look at it from his perspective. You're more personable than he's ever been. If you win glory against the Darkspawn tomorrow, it will only strengthen the case for you as the next heir. Trian fears father will replace him on the spot. If not, the Assembly will surely turn against him when father dies. You know his pride will never allow him to step aside. You're the Elder. I'll follow your lead as always.
Permission to speak freely? Trian would make a terrible king, but no one wants to say it. He has just enough backing in the Assembly to make it ugly when your father dies, but not enough to become king. Killing him now makes your house stronger and saves a great deal of bloodshed later.
I'm afraid I must agree with you. Tomorrow's battle is the time to do it. I'll find out the rendezvous and buy you the time to do what must be done. I'm taking your place as father's second, so I'll be at hand tomorrow. For now, try to get some sleep.
May the Paragon smile down on you.
Trian and his men will clear the way for the Grey Wardens to descend into the easternmost caverns. Those caverns are still infested by the worst of the Darkspawn. We cannot risk our own troops in there.
Understood, Lord Haramont. We should be able to sense the Darkspawn and avoid them once the way is open. May the Paragons favor you, and the stone catch you if you fall.
Come then! Glory awaits!
Balin, you and your men will second the king, clearing the main road.
Don't you think it looks a little cowardly to allow these humans to take our place where the fighting is thickest?
Are you questioning the battle plan?
Of course not. I'm sure your caution is for the glory of us all.
Enough, Balin! Take your men and make ready. Haramont and I need to have words with your sibling.
Good luck, my brother.
Your father has a special mission for you.
In the eastern deep roads, there is a secret door carved into the stone.
The door leads to a Taig, abandoned long ago by your ancestors. The Darkspawn have made it impossible to reach.
My father believed that the shield of the Paragon Aeducan remains in that Taig, under the stones of the central room. Reclaim the shield, and glory will be yours.
We've sent 2 scouts ahead to make sure the tunnels are cleared. But be careful. One of the scouts will meet you at the first crossroads you come to. The second will be further in. When you get to the door, use your signet ring to open it. Questions? The crossroads where you meet the first scout will be the rendezvous point. There you can present the shield to the lords and demonstrate the strength of Aeducan.
May the ancestors watch over you, my child.
We should keep moving.
It's either you or me, and it isn't gonna be me.
Let's get started.
You made it, Commander. Did you run afoul of any Darkspawn? We didn't expect any activity in these tunnels at all. Once I finished scouting the tunnels, I hid here to avoid the Darkspawn. Most tunnels are dead ends. The one we want is swarming with those fiends. It's going to be a fight. As you say, onward then.
You're here? I thought the Darkspawn had got you for sure. And I'll make sure I'm behind you if we're swarmed. We want the tunnel ahead, but there are Darkspawn tracks all over it. Be careful. I haven't ventured more than 100 yards ahead, for fear of alerting other Darkspawn. I'll follow your lead, Commander.
Right.
Looks like someone beat us to the door.
This Darkspawn body is still fresh. Whoever opened the door is most likely still in there.
It could have been stolen, recently or generations back.
Or it could be an ambitious cousin out for his own glory.
Understood. Let's move, men.
So glad you could finally join us. We feared you'd gotten eaten by Darkspawn. Turns out the shield isn't quite as easy to retrieve as I was led to believe. I wager you know where it is, though. So maybe you tell me where it is, and I won't mutilate your body so bad your father doesn't recognize you. I'm your better, that's who. And as to how I got in, that's a question you'll have to ask the stone after I butcher you. Now where's the shield? Bit for bite, huh? Both of us banking on killing the other and losing nothing by the telling? Very well. One of Prince Trian's men brought me this ring. It opened the door just fine. Now where is the sodding shield? Just kill them, boys. We'll find this shield on our own.
That's for House Aeducan! We will prevail! We're doing well!
This is the room. How do we get the shield? You two, see if you can spot anything. I'm listening. It seems some of these tiles are different from the others.
Your command. As you wish.
That's it. We've got it.
It doesn't look like much.
The skill of our crafters has come far since then. But still, the Shield of Aeducan.
I can feel it. It's inspirational.
You say so. It's just a shield.
Back in the direction we came from, at the crossroads.
To the crossroads.
Did you hear that?
These
There'll be
creatures
more of those mercenaries.
More darkspawn.
Take them! Either you or me!
Right. As you wish.
I'm on it. Right away.
Right.
If Trian were really scheming against us, this would be the perfect place for an ambush. We've got the shield, and we're all alone out here. Of course.
What's that you're muttering about? Uh-huh. All right, then.
Atrast Vala, brother. Anything you have to say can be said here in front of our men. I didn't wear it today. I didn't wish to risk losing it in battle. Don't attempt to cast your dark shadows back on me. You have plotted to murder me so you could take my place as heir. You convinced Balin to help take my men and me by surprise. Do you deny it? I have every right to judge you. I am your prince and your elder brother. Every tradition, everything that makes us who we are, demands your loyalty to me. You and your companions will throw down your weapons, confess your treason, and be tried in front of the Assembly. It will be your end, brother. May the stone reject your unworthy, treacherous body. Kill the traitors! Come on, man!
As you wish.
I'm not afraid of you! Drive them back! To battle!
Hurry, Father, before it's too...
By all the ancestors, what has happened here?
It seems we weren't fast enough. Balin was right.
My son, tell me this isn't what it looks like.
Can you prove it?
My lord is innocent.
Sir Gorham, your loyalty makes you a useless witness. It falls to others to tell the story. You, Scout, what happened here?
Trian and his men were here early. It seems they'd done battle with the Darkspawn. Lord Aeducan came up to them all friendly-like, but when we got close, he ordered us to attack.
It is a valid question. The man is lowborn and could easily be bought.
Frandlin Ivo, you are a good and noble man. Did the scout speak the truth?
He did, my lord. It was terrible. Prince Trian didn't stand a chance.
You treacherous bastard! Silence, Gorham! Do you have anything else to say, my son? I want to believe that. I really do.
Bind him. He will be judged before the Assembly. To Orzammar.
You've got 10 minutes, sir. Orders and all. You understand?
Of course. Leave us alone, will you, please? Yep. I would have come sooner had they allowed it. How are you? You were lied to. Made to think that you acted in your own protection. And that's not all. Balin has taken Trian's place in the Assembly. He introduced a motion to condemn you immediately, and it easily passed. He had fully half the Assembly ready to vote on something completely against tradition and justice. He must have been making deals and alliances for months, if not years. I'm afraid so. Some of the lords, especially Harrowmont, are suspicious of Balin's instant rise to power. They are rallying, but far too slowly. The Assembly has already sentenced both of us. My knighthood will be stripped, my name torn from my family records. But I will be allowed to attempt some sort of life on the surface. Lord Harrowmont moved for a similar exile for you, but Balin's supporters overwhelmed him. You are to be sealed in the deep roads to fight Darkspawn until you are overwhelmed and killed. Lord Harrowmont says the king is taken ill. He couldn't bear losing 2 of his children at once. Lord Harrowmont gave me access to see you so I could tell you this. Duncan and the Grey Wardens are still in the deep roads, in tunnels connected to those you are to be left in. If you survive long enough to find the Grey Wardens, you may be able to escape with Duncan. The Grey Wardens don't care about a person's past. They recruit for daring, intelligence, and martial power. If you can find them, I'm sure you can join them and escape the deep roads. Balin underestimated you, much as we underestimated him. I begged to go with you and fight at your side, but Balin's pet nobles wouldn't hear of it. I would give up all the safety in the world to go down this dark path with you. Our time is up. May the Paragons guide your sword and the stone hold you up. I will always be your man, my Lord Aeducan.
They are ready for you now. Here is the prisoner, Lord Harrowmont.
Having been found guilty of fratricide by the Assembly of Orzammar, you are hereby sentenced to exile and death. Your name is from this point forward stripped from the records. You are no longer a person, nor a memory. You are to be cast into the deep roads with only sword and shield. Dare to redeem your life by fighting the enemies of Orzammar until your death. Do you have anything to say before the sentence is carried out? Soldier, hand the accused your sword and shield. Open the doors and let the condemned walk through. May the stone accept you when you fall.
Let's get started.
It's either you or me, and it isn't gonna be me.
This should be...
How about you? Weakness! Look at this mess! I love it!
Let's get started.
By the Maker, it's a dwarf.
Lord Aeducan, what are you doing here alone? Where are your troops? Ah, you have been made to walk the deep roads, then.
You mean you were exiled? What happened?
I do not think matters of dwarven honor are any business of ours. You need not answer, friend. Lord Trian? I see. The brutal intrigue of the Dwarven court continues, then. Your father intimated as much. I will not ask what happened. You are the child of my old friend, and do not deserve to die in this pit. You have already proven yourself both resourceful and skilled, and I would expect nothing less from an Aeducan. I've been searching for those with your level of ability. Your exploits in the Deep Road set you apart. As leader of the Grey Wardens in Ferelden, I would like to formally invite you to join our order. Then welcome. We leave immediately for Ostagar to join with the human forces facing the Darkspawn hordes led by King Kaelan. Stay close. There are still Darkspawn around every corner. We will be traveling south through the hinterlands to the ruin of Ostagar, on the edges of the Korcari Wilds. The Tevinter Imperium built Ostagar long ago to prevent the Wilders from invading the northern lowlands. It's fitting we make our stand here, even if we face a different foe within that forest. The King's forces have clashed with the Darkspawn several times, but here is where the bulk of the Horde will show itself. There are only a few Grey Wardens within Ferelden at the moment, but all of us are here. This blight must be stopped, here and now. If it spreads to the north, Ferelden will fall.
Ho there, Duncan.
King Kaelan. I didn't expect a
royal welcome? I was beginning to worry you'd miss all the fun.
Not if I could help it, Your Majesty.
Then I'll have the mighty Duncan at my side in battle after all. Glorious. The other wardens told me you'd found a promising recruit. I take it this is he?
Allow me to introduce you, Your Majesty.
There's no need to be so formal, Duncan. We'll be shedding blood together after all. Ho there, friend. Might I know your name? Pleased to meet you. The Grey Wardens are desperate to bolster their numbers, and I, for one, am glad to help them. It's good to see one of the honorable stout folk outside Orzammar. Sounds like there's a story behind that. You must regale me with it sometime. I do. I'll make sure to have the finest dwarven brew brought up from the palace cellars. After we've dealt with the Blight, of course. I've been to Orzammar. King Endrin invited my father to a grand proving long ago. How does Endrin fare these days? Well, it seems your story may be even more interesting than I suspected. Allow me to be the first to welcome you to Ostagar. The Wardens will benefit greatly with you in their ranks. I'm sorry to cut this short, but I should return to my tent. Loghain waits eagerly to bore me with his strategies.
Your uncle sends his greetings and reminds you that Redcliffe forces could be here in less than a week.
Ha! Eamon just wants in on the glory. We've won 3 battles against these monsters, and tomorrow should be no different. Overconfident, some would say. Right, Duncan?
Your Majesty, I'm not certain the Blight can be ended quite as quickly as you might wish.
I'm not even sure this is a true Blight. There are plenty of Darkspawn on the field, but alas, we've seen no sign of an archdemon.
Disappointed, Your Majesty?
I'd hoped for a war like in the tales. A king riding with the fabled Grey Wardens against a tainted god. But I suppose this will have to do. I must go before Loghain sends out a search party. Farewell, Grey Wardens.
What the king said is true. They've won several battles against the Darkspawn here. True. Despite the victories so far, the Darkspawn horde grows larger with each passing day. By now, they look to outnumber us. I know there is an archdemon behind this, but I cannot ask the king to act solely on my feeling. Yet not enough to wait for reinforcements from the Grey Wardens of Orlais. He believes our legend alone makes him invulnerable. Our numbers in Ferelden are too few. We must do what we can, and look to Teyrn Loghain to make up the difference. To that end, we should proceed with the joining ritual without delay. Every recruit must go through a secret ritual we call the Joining, in order to become a Grey Warden. The ritual is brief, but some preparation is required. We must begin soon. The joining is dangerous. I cannot speak more of it except to say that you will learn all in good time. Until then, you must trust that what is done is necessary. No, there are 2 other recruits here already. They have been waiting for us to arrive. Feel free to explore the camp here as you wish. All I ask is that you do not leave it for the time being. There is another Grey Warden in the camp by the name of Alistair. When you're ready, seek him out and tell him it's time to summon the other recruits. Until then, I have business I must attend to. You may find me at the Grey Warden tent on the other side of this bridge, should you need to.